Hello and welcome to the 1990 series. My name's Amanda O'Shea, the Loving Life Coach from the Serendipity Experience. And I have with me today a very special friend, Mr. Ollie Doyle, who is today in Munich in Germany. How you doing, Ollie? How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Welcome. I'm really glad that you're part of the series.
Thanks for inviting me.
We're going to just talk a bit about we had a little chat there before we came on and came up with a little subject of life is good. Life is good. I've known you, Ollie, since you were a little boy, a naughty little boy.
Not so little anymore, eh? Well, I was never really that little.
You were never that little then, really.
No.
It's so funny for me to see you, like, from being my brother's sort of best mate, you know, my brother's little friend who maybe wasn't so little, up to
Well, I was going to say I was about this size when I was 7.
up until you're now a granddad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Huge congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's I thought quite scary, but turns out that at 10 months old, she's the only one that doesn't give me any stress. She's all right.
She's all right. She's the easy one.
She's all right. The other two, well, anyway.
Anyway, life is good. Even
Life is good.
You know, so we had that. Ollie, I've seen you do all sorts of, so from when you were a barra boy, when you were young, you know, running the stalls up outside Edgware Road train station, to jobs in the city, to being very successful, moving to Germany, to Munich. You know, you've had a colourful life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, many different things. I mean, from selling fruit and flowers to now owning my own, you know, or being a partner, a founding partner, managing partner in a consultancy that specialises in data and, you know, high-end program directors and so on. Yeah, I mean, it's a long way. It's a long way from Edgware Road. It's a long way from standing in the rain selling strawberries in August, you know. I specifically said in the rain selling strawberries, you know.
Yeah, that's how it was. You know, that's right.
Yeah, but you know what? Even when I talk about it, you know, I'm sitting there looking at you, and I remember, you know, you popped up, you know, when you was in town, because you've had quite a colourful life yourself. I know this is meant to be about me, but you know, yeah, I mean, they were good times though. You know, there was a good laugh. You know, your brother used to finish up, you know, working at Murphy's, and then, you know, come round and work with me in the summer evenings, you know, and then he went on the knowledge, and then he, you know, started doing that, and then he'd come and work for me in the evenings, and so yeah, so it's sitting in my own office in my own company in Munich. Yeah, I suppose it's you know, and being a granddad, I suppose it's light years away. It's very different.
Yeah, but something that's never changed, Ollie, whether I see you at a family event or through the years, is you've always had this jolliness to you. You've always been the guy who is fun to have around, right? It's like Ollie's turning up, you know, there's something about your character that I love, that it brings warmth, and it's got that flavour of humour and so seeing life is good. For me, life is good if we're just alive, right? Life is good because I don't know that being happy 24/7 is what anybody's pointing to. But in the light of creating experience and having as many experiences as we can, do you feel that you have, having had this sort of humorous, joyous kind of natural way of being, do you think that makes your life easier? Do you think that makes, you know, people's who are around you, do you think that makes their life easier?
Well, you know, just, we did have a very brief discussion before we came on, and I think, what we were talking about, is it impossible? I don't know, but it's very difficult when you see someone yawn not to yawn back, and when you see someone smile. So, I'll give you an example. In between the fruit stall and going to work in the city, working on the doors and having a security company, and a man, screaming at the top of his voice, worse for drink or worse for drugs or whatever it was, screaming, no rhyme or reason. Screaming back at him makes him scream louder, which makes you scream louder, which generally escalates into something that you don't want it to, you don't want it to go. If you keep your mouth shut, open your ears, and smile, they genuinely either pack it in and go home, or they stop screaming. They're not coming back inside anyway, but it just calms everything down. And I think it's exactly the same as when you're surrounded by friends, if you're at a family event and whatever. If you can put a smile on someone's face, no matter how bad your day is, you're increasing someone else. You're enhancing someone else's day or someone else's life. And by default, when you see that person smile or you see warmth, I think you have to get some of that back, don't you? You can't only live life, in my opinion, and be happy yourself. I think you need to bring joy to others to have happiness yourself. I think you can't walk around being 100% happy 100% of the time if everyone else around you is completely down and unhappy, satisfied. So I think you have to feed off of that, don't you? I think it's a two-way street.
It's like a dance, isn't it? But it's like a dance or an exchange. But I think the thing is that you're so, when somebody is displaying that kind of joyfulness, as long as it's not fake, because we smell that like a rat, right? We know when somebody's fake. But when you are in your joyful presence, when you are in a loving presence, it just ripples out. It just is contagious. It's just infectious. It's just, it's just feels nice to have that. Even, if you've got the ump and somebody like of your kind of character shows up, before we know it, we're just having a laugh. It's like all the nonsense dissipates.
There's employees of mine sitting in the next room. They know when not to come in here, No, am I happy all the time? No. But I think you've got to be conscious to live in the moment, and people are as happy as they make up their mind to be. And some people watching this will know where that comes from. As Abraham Lincoln said. So, won't go into all the details of my life, but, life hasn't always been perfect. There's been big bumps in the road. But in general, I've got good health. My children are healthy. My granddaughter's healthy. My parents are healthy. I've got really good friends, good family. Got a little business. I love living in Munich. I mean, I absolutely adore living in Munich, Never in a million years that, when you're at school and people saying, I'll probably end up in New York, or I'll end up, maybe in Spain, or, I don't think anyone's ever put their hand up in class when I'm going to go to Munich, I don't, Maybe people put their hand up and said Berlin, but Munich, no, but we're off to the mountains tomorrow for our Christmas party. The Zugspitze, we're sledding down. It's 3,000 meters up, and you can ski here in an hour. We have the lakes, which is like half an hour on the bike. There's no crime. There's obviously there's crime, but there's very little crime. It's clean. It's safe. It's pretty. You know, the Christmas markets are on now. A couple of good pubs. The beer's good. Yeah, I mean, you know, what I have troubles like everyone else in the world, but they're not big, you know, compared to what other people have. So life is good. So why not smile? You know what I mean? It's you know, it's the crack is good.
The crack is good in Cricklewood.
The crack was 90.
And it is just that jolliness, you know. And when we're happy with us, I think there's something about when we are happy with when we're comfortable in our own skin. There's something about.
Right, sorry to interrupt you. One thing I forgot to say. I live in Munich, right in Bavaria, where it is sociably acceptable and actually encouraged for men to walk around all year in leather shorts. I mean, what's not to be happy about? You know, walking around in lederhosen. You know?
So if you can laugh.
How can you not smile?
And it is like we're a, you know, mysterious bunch, right? There is something about that. There's something about being comfortable because you're in that ritual, or you're in that you know, that's just what they do there, right? Everybody that goes to Oktoberfest dresses up like that, or not everybody, but that's the crack.
I mean, yeah, you know, I'd say it's in the 90%. And it's, you know, if you have a pair of jeans on, you feel out of place.
Yeah.
You know, it's you know, that's what people do. You know, they wear socks around their calves and have special shoes on, and you know, they wear vests and deerskin shorts, and you know, and away you go.
And away you go, and you're just
You know? Yeah.
But there's something about you're all in that together. So you're all playing that game, right? Everyone's playing the game.
You know, you're talking about from the ages of 3 years of age up into 90. You know, you're all walking into a beer fest, and you know, a lot of people that have never been. You know, obviously it's designed around drinking alcohol, but you know, when you're then dancing on a bench, or if you're really drunk, dancing on a table, you know, with a 90-year-old woman and a 75-year-old fella, you know, and you know, it's 8 o'clock at night and it's still light outside, but you know, but everyone's dancing and you know, singing Bavarian folk songs or Oasis or whatever. I mean, it's, you know, in leather shorts. I mean, you know.
What more do you want? What's not to love, hey?
Well, there you go, you know. It's, yeah, I mean, it's very liberating. You know? Imagine looking down the Kilburn High Road in that get up. I don't reckon you'd hit the crest of Maida Vale. I reckon you'd be topped.
But I love
the old girl for a pint in your lederhosen. I don't reckon you'd make the Queens.
You wouldn't. And you know, you're just in it and you're in the moment. And there's something about us being in the moment where we are. We like to blend. There's something about humans that we like to blend in. I think that's why people end up, you come from that area and so you do the things that people in that area do, or you come from this area and you do the things that people from this area do, and there's no problem if that suits you. Like, there's no problem at all if you enjoy doing that. But if you don't enjoy, you know, I'm sure there are people that come from Munich or the areas or wherever that really don't enjoy dressing up in the get up, and they've got to do it every year because the whole family are doing it or whatever. No, so they're going to have a little bit of thinking about that, which means they're going to have a little bit of struggle with that, which means they're probably not very happy, you know.
No, but you know, it's you know, there's certain days here where it's, you know, the weddings and things like that, you have to wear them. You know, you don't have to wear it to the Oktoberfest or something like that. So, you know, it's like everything in life. You know, there's certain things I have to do 2 or 3 days a year that I don't like doing. You know, one of them's visiting the accountant and the tax man. But you know, I think if you're only having to do the things you don't like a small amount of times, then life is good.
Yeah.
You know, it's and we were talking about just briefly was that, you know, people that, so if you're in that environment and you're comfortable with it, then, you know, a lot of people don't know any different. You know, I speak to people, you know, when I'm back in London, that haven't really left Edgware Road or haven't really left Kilburn, you know, and they're comfortable with that and they love that and that's their environment and they feel safe there and they feel happy there. But they do, you know, the same thing over and over again. And I just do the same things over and over again, but there's more things to do, you know. So going to London is one thing. Going off to Asia a couple of weeks ago was another thing. You know, going down to the mountains tomorrow is another thing. You know, so, you know, and I will probably repeat all three of those things again next year, but they're just different things to do in a different way, you know, as opposed to go to work, go to the pub, go to the cafe, you know, repeat. There's different things to do. So for me, that makes me happier. That, you know, that enhances my life by doing different things like that. You know, having lunch with your brother on Tuesday in London, you know, that all those things enhance my life. You know, they you know, I mean, you know, it's hard to get a conversation out of the boy, but you know, but you know, just by sitting at a table having a bit of lunch, that makes my life better.
Yeah, and
it's a really simple thing, isn't it? You know, it's seeing someone. I went to my old company Christmas party last night, and seeing someone I hadn't seen in a year, who's not the most talkative, probably not the most interesting, but seeing that person, you know, we actually had a chat for 10 minutes. And it was really good to catch up with them. Now, normally, when you see that person on a daily basis, you probably don't want to have a 10-minute conversation with that person every day. No, but it's true, you don't. You know, you don't really have that much in common.
Yeah.
Last night, catching up for 10 minutes because you hadn't seen that person, it was actually really interesting, and I got out of it, and I think they did too.
We love that, don't we, Ollie? We love the connection. You know, we search for connection. Even you go far away, and I know you really travel a lot these days and can't keep up with you. You're here and you're there and you're flying all around the world. But we love the connection of meeting somebody else who's from Kilburn or knows somebody from Kilburn or from Edgware Road or from London or from Munich. Or we're always we're without knowing you, we're always searching for that kind of little connection, seeing that we're familiar or there's something familiar, you know, the Irish connection.
It was funny. I was watching your video with your friend that was off to, I think, Colombia and then off to, was it Peru? You know, and it was just having a conversation with a friend last night, and it's like, you know, the Irish connection. No matter where you go in the world, there's an Irish pub. You know, I mean, literally, you walk out the Amazon jungle, the first thing you'd see is probably an Irish. You know what I mean? And for a country that's, you know, a population of around 5 million people, you know, actually living in Ireland, but, you know, the biggest displaced population in the world, you know, Irish people just always seem to find each other.
Yeah.
You know, and no matter where I go in the world, generally, you know, I was having a conversation in Stockholm last year with a fella that lived one road up in Kilburn. You know, just bumped into this guy in a pub in Stockholm. I know I mention pubs a lot. I do frequent pubs. I just thought I'd get that in. You know, there's no drink problem. You know.
It's all about. And going back to that, that's why people go to the pub. They like to communicate and chat and meet people, and, you know, whatever suits people, whatever suits you is good, right? I think there's a lot of people living their lives doing stuff that doesn't suit them, and when we get to see that life is good when we do what suits us, and we're guided to what suits us, because it feels good, and we're guided by our own consciousness. We know when we're doing something that's all right, and we know when we're doing something that's not okay. We're guided for that. We've got an internal system that lets us know about that stuff. But what I see in you, Ollie, I see that you don't have, or this is how I've seen it, you're not afraid of having a go, having a crack, trying something new. Let's give it a
Apart from
bash.
diets.
The unknown.
Don't fancy them much.
But you don't have fear of the unknown. You're quite able to. It would appear that you'll give something a go.
Do you know? I've had this conversation with people in the past. I think that comes partly from being an only child as well, though. If you want friends and you want conversation, you have to go and get it. There was no brother or sister that was going to introduce me to their friends or their acquaintances, So I think it's about, if you want a group of friends, then you have to go and make that group of friends, and you have to be a good friend to keep them. And I think a lot of that is it's not so much the fear of the unknown. I mean, how do you know you don't like something until you try it? And just go off and I'll talk to anyone anywhere. One second. Sorry. I'll talk to anyone anywhere. If they don't talk back, well, they don't talk back. Don't take it personally, And if they do talk, sometimes they talk back and you wish they hadn't. That's when you've got to be a little bit careful, Especially if you're flying down to Bangkok and that person's sitting next to you for 10.5 hours, like 3 weeks ago, didn't shut up 10.5 hours, even when I was pretending to be asleep. So, be careful what you wish for. But,
it's true.
Life is good. I think if you can get through the day smiling more than you frown, and you can make other people smile, I can't, and nor do I want to, manage other people's lives and make them happy or make them sad or whatever. If I, by me interacting with them, can help, can benefit, can bring a bit of joy, and sometimes maybe even, not so much sadness, but can bring a bit of understanding or a bit of caring, then, that's good for me, it's good for them. And I think, when you lie down at the end of the day, if there's been more positives than negatives, sometimes there's more negatives, but if they're not so big, then it's a good day, isn't it? I mean, the truth is, I don't really have any problems in life. I used to think I did. Self-pity is a really dangerous thing, and I'm very aware of not to have self-pity anymore. So I think I'm happy with what I have. I'm happy with who I have in my life. So for me, life is good.
Life is good. And you just said something there, Ollie, that I think once there's something about feeling joy for ourselves, but being in service and paying it forward, and that for me, that whole being in service is where it's at. Like, it feels good to be enjoy ourselves, but it feels better to give it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's look, who wants to be the only person sitting around the table with a smile on their face? I mean, what's the point in that? Sitting around a dinner table or sitting around a table, having a coffee, and there's 4 people there, and you're the only one that's got a smile on your face. You might as well share that. And, if you can make one of the other 3 smile, then you've achieved something, haven't you? Or you've shown empathy to the other 3.
Yeah.
You know, that sometimes that's even greater than a smile, isn't it? You know.
I think you've hit on something that it's really not about just everyone being happy, crazy, like, you know, Amanda or Ollie kind of. It's about, you said, understanding and empathy. And sometimes it's being present. I think people just want to know you care. You know, once people know you care, then they feel the connection. And
Well, what's a squeeze on the shoulder? You know, when someone goes to you, you know, are you okay? You know, or they don't say anything at all. They just squeeze your shoulder, and you know, I don't know, your dog might have been, you know, run over, or your cat's gone missing, or whatever. You know, that really affects some people. You know, and you know, showing someone, acknowledging that, you know, that there's a little bit of sorrow, or there's a little bit of sadness, or there's a little bit of something missing. If you can acknowledge that, it doesn't have to be with words, you know, then I think that's as good as making someone smile. It's as good as, you know, doing something for somebody, just acknowledging the fact that someone's having a little bit of a rough day. And yeah, I think, you know, you get out of life what you put into it. I mean, it's as simple as that, you know. I mean, you know, it really is. If you want a good life, then you have to live a good life, you know. And there's many different things that make that up.
yeah, that's true. And we're all making it up as we go along, really. And
That's it, you know. How long are we here for? None of us know, you know. May all be getting off tomorrow. You know, but you know what? If that's the case, then you know today was a good day.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You know,
life is good, Mr.
yeah,
Oliver Doyle. I know that you're only called Oliver by your mum when you're in trouble, aren't you?
yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
so Ollie it is. Thank you.
Ollie it is, yeah.
So thank you so much for being
Oh,
part
it was a
of
pleasure.
90 and
I
90,
hope I bored everyone to death there.
and and it's just lovely to see, you know, to see that there are. I'm very lucky to have so many fabulous people in my world. Thank you for being one of them.
Thank you very much for asking me. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Big
All
kisses,
right,
Ollie. Have
take
fun.
care.
Have fun in the mountains.
I will do. I will.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye bye.
Bye.